Hi and welcome to a new episode of the Kitting Yak. Today's guest is Anette of Pink Hazel.
Hi,
Hello.
Anette.
Hello. Hi, Paula. Hello.
Hi, how are
Hello.
you?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
Good. Yes,
Yes.
I'm good. So happy you agreed to be on, the Kitting Yak with us. You know, I'm a
Yes.
big fan, so.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm a fan too of yours, so
Yes.
it's nice to be here. I'm a little nervous, but that's fine.
That's okay. We just chat in a way.
Yes.
And let's, I'm sure that everybody that comes live now knows who you are, but maybe we can say a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm Annette, and I'm the maker of bags, of knitting bags, or knitting accessory bags, all sorts. And the company name is Pink Hazel, as many probably know. And yes, so I'm living in the Netherlands, and but I'm actually German, but I'm here since a long time now.
So you're originally from Germany, and you can hear a little bit from your accent. And you moved to the Netherlands for family reason, work reason, or?
Well, for my husband, really. We lived in quite a few places. So he's British, and well, we met when I was working in England, and then we lived 8 years in Asia. And afterwards, he was posted here, and I was just sort of always the expat wife who traveled along. And
where in Asia?
We were first in Singapore, and then in Hong Kong, and then in Shanghai, and then back to Singapore.
Oh, nice. All places that I love and have been, and I love
all
of them.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice places. Yeah, but it's,
Yes.
It's a long time ago now. So we're now almost, I think, 17 years in the Netherlands. And
where you live is that?
Yeah, sorry. Go on.
Where you live, is that a small place or is close? I don't really know where the town where you live is.
I'm living very close to The Hague, so it's actually sort of the busiest area of the Netherlands. It's so from Amsterdam down towards Rotterdam. That's
yes.
The sort of most populated area in the Netherlands, and I'm living very close to The Hague, which is where all the embassies are, and the sort of
yes.
the government is sitting, and it's very close to the seaside. So, but I'm in a smaller town, but they really are all interconnected. You sort of, it's not like as if you drive a bit of countryside and come to the next town. It's all one big area. But I'm living sort of very close to parks and things, so it's relatively green where I'm living.
Right. I actually lived 8 months in the Netherlands years back.
Yeah. Where?
I actually studied Chinese at a university in Leiden.
And that's very close to where I am. Yes. Really close.
So I love my time there, like, flowers everywhere, and very cold winters as well. But, I have very fond memories of the food, of the people, and especially the landscape. And the fact you could go everywhere by bicycle, it was amazing. And transportation was so convenient as well. So it's a good place to live.
It's a very, very good place to live. I mean, the thing is with landscape, it's very, very flat, which makes it fantastic for cycling, but it's obviously not so beautiful like hills and mountains or so. Right. But actually for living and every day, it's easy, because of cycling, running, everything is very convenient. And the Dutch are very organized, so everything works and everything is well thought through. So it's a good place to live.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that we are receiving hearts, like every 3 seconds, a lot of hearts for you coming up, and maybe some for me too. and we would love to hear where all you guys, where are you coming from? Just type in. It would be nice to know where you're coming from. And remember that you have any questions as well during the chat. We will try to read the questions and answer any question that you might have. And so I will ask some questions and we have a conversation, but any curiosity that you have about Anette or me or anything, you can just ask away. So the Pink Hazel, what about the name? Where the name came from?
Yes, that's always why pink is my favorite color, so that makes sense. But I didn't actually first think of the color. I wanted something, autumn is my favorite season, and I wanted something autumny. So this is getting a little, so I was thinking of things that remind me of autumn, and it was amongst others the hazelnut, and then I thought, oh, that's a bit weird. And then the pink came to it, and pink hazelnut was the long, and then it just got shortened to Pink Hazel.
Oh,
so
wow.
There was nothing really, no other connection to the name, and it's not really a great story, but that's how it came together. Yeah.
I see a lot of Americans joining us, and also from Canada, which is good. I'm just trying to in New Jersey.
Yeah. I find that I'm not so used to it, so I have to actually.
That's okay.
I read bifocal glasses, so I find it quite
yes,
a little bit difficult. So if I'm looking a bit weird, everybody, it's kind of my vision is a little bit difficult.
Don't worry. Somebody that says that met both of us, and she has several of your bags.
Thank you. Very nice.
So talking about, let's not talk about bags. So we already identified that your favorite color is pink, which is something that we have in common.
Yeah.
And and we lived in the same country as well. How did you start? Did you start it as a knitter, or did you start sewing? How did you start?
No, I think my real hobby is knitting. I just love to knit, and I've been knitting since I'm probably 11 or 12 years old. I'm not so sure. I've started with a neighbor lady, and that's really, I mean, I did also sew, but I need to admit, particular garment sewing gets me really quite cross. I cannot quite understand how anybody thinks it's relaxing. I admire it really, but it's just, I find it quite hard. But I always like things which are quite straight lines and quite structured in terms of sewing, like making a quilt or and then the bags really. But yes, so that is, I'm really come as a knitter, and so I started the company from that. My circular needle, or my circular needles were such a mess that I all the time had problems to pull them all apart, and the twisted cords, and that's how really my company started. So I made a circular needle organizer. In my clothes making sewing sessions where I did go to, I suddenly thought, no, that's it. I have to make myself something, because I saw that things are available in the US, but they were not in Europe. And so I just kind of went with my logic and decided what I wanted to do, and made a needle organizer already.
So Pink Hazel really stemmed out of your, of your own needs. So you needed something to organize your circular needles, and didn't like anything that was out there, or was hardly anything at the time, actually.
Yeah.
Also in Europe, most people were still using string needles, I guess, or no, probably.
I'm not really sure. I think people were already using circular, but I think when I did the first knitting event that was in Berlin, and I had not even joined Ravelry. I had no idea. I just was really, I went to a yarn shop which sold Rowan yarns. That was what I knitted with. And then at that event, well, there was Jochi there and Vera, but I had no idea who they were. And then was just other people, excited stallholders, telling me who's there and who's who. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. So a new world opened at that event. And then, of course, I found out that other people were doing bags or things, but I really didn't know before. I was really, although I was already a reasonably experienced knitter, I had no idea what a sort of community existed around the whole knitting. Yes.
A lot of people come to this community from years of knitting on their own, and having, especially if you started when your mother or grandmother or anybody else in your family has taught you. I think it's it takes a leap to get into the community and say, oh, what's out there, what is this, and then you join, and then you're in this credible supportive big family from all over the world. And I think that Ravelry really managed to bring a lot of people together and give the tools, and it's sort of almost like it is a platform for all of us to go there and see all the incredible designs and colors and yarns that are available these days. So that's incredible. But I think that there are a lot of people that are making bags, project bags, accessories out there. But I think that you were one of the first that start making them with that, with that care and with that love for textile, and with the creativity that you use. is, you know, do you want to talk a little bit about your process?
Okay. Yes. So, well, I think from the start, well, I do like colors, so I think my bags are quite colorful, and I think I do like the linen sort of fabrics. I didn't want to work with quilting fabrics. I wanted something sturdier, a bit stronger, and I do like the look of linen because although it's very bright, the colors, they're also toned down because of the linen. I think it gives it a special texture. So, and I think really that I found sort of the first of the fabrics that I used was actually at a visit to a friend who lives in Colorado. It was, I think, is it Fancy Tiger? The yarn shop?
Fancy Tiger, beautiful
yes.
store, yes.
Yeah, so I was in there and I was several fabrics and I thought they were so amazing and beautiful. So I took some of the fabrics with me and sewed with them, and that was really what said me, okay, if I'm going to do something, that's the sort of fabric I want to use. So I set on the journey to try to find out who does things in that direction, and yeah, so that's, I guess, how the fabrics came together. And
right.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm telling, I don't know if you know this, well, I think you remember because we talked about, but people might not know, of course, how I came to know you. And because you mentioned Fancy Tiger Craft in Colorado, there is a link. There is a link there.
Oh, yes.
So there's a wonderful knitter, and there is a wonderful knitter and friend, Alison Page, that worked with me for a little while in at the space in the showroom here in New York, and so we became friends. And she used to work at the Fancy Tiger Craft before she moved to New York. And one day she came with this beautiful bag, and I said, "What is this? This is amazing. This is so beautiful." And she said, "Don't you know Pink Hazel?" I said, "No, I don't. Let's check it out on Instagram." And we went on your website, and you know, I really liked it. And then I said, "Well, you know, maybe, you know, let's see." And then a few days later, she came back to me and said, "You know, you're going to Edinburgh, and you're going to EYF in Edinburgh, you know, with mYak. Pink Hazel is going to be there. You know, if I order a bag, would you mind picking it up and carrying it back for me?"
Yes. Yes.
Do you
Okay.
remember?
Yeah,
So
I do remember that now.
I
Yes.
said, "Of course, you know," and she said, "Maybe, you know, maybe you should get one for yourself." So this is all Alison's making. And so I remember coming, and I remember coming to you just before you were still setting up like we were doing. So it was the first day, the day of, you know, the morning of EYF. You had communicated with Alison, so you had a bag set aside for her. And I came to your booth, and I remember I was like stunned by the colors, the textile, everything that was in front of my eyes. It was such a beauty. It was just a beautiful, you know, everything was beautiful. And I went like, "Oh, this, and that." And I remember I bought my first 2 bags, and you know, and I brought you the one Alison bag. And I think that moment is where my addiction started. So you know, it is an addiction.
It's a better one than many others one can have. Yes.
If you turn around, you see just a few of all the one I have.
Oh.
And it's like, you know, each time I come or I see you, I order. And but one of the things is that, and then let's go back and talk about your process. It's almost impossible to grab a bag when you do your shop updates.
Is it? Well, I think at the moment I don't announce it quite so long ahead anymore. I do it much shorter, sometimes just 2 days ahead. So I think that gives more people a chance to get one, because I think when I did this big run up of telling people 2-3 weeks ahead, then maybe it was in too many people's diary. So I think I've tried to slow it down by just saying, okay, in 2 days time, I'm going to do an update. So that, you know, that you have to kind of keep a bit more on the Instagram page.
Keep an eye on your Instagram.
Yeah, keep a little bit more. And I think that has made it just a little bit better. So I think so. I hope so. But I do also help people and do, you know, when someone is really frustrated and they write to me, I tend to help. I tend to make them a bag. So it's sometimes a little tricky, because some people think that, oh, I want this color or that in this direction. That makes it very difficult. It's easy if I know, you know, that was one I made and I have the fabric, I can do it. Otherwise it's a little tricky. But yeah, so I try to tend to help people when they fall in love with something, and as long as I've got the fabric. But it's, yeah, it is a little difficult, but because I'm just sewing by myself, I mean, I have you know, a little bit of help. Someone helps me to press the flizzoline on, or you know, Manon, who used to work for a while full-time for me, but she's studying again, but she, you know, sometimes has a day and cuts out for me, so she still helps a little.
Yeah.
But you know, and you can only do so much as one person. And you know, I was thinking whether I should make the company bigger, but somehow that's not me. I just like to put the love in each one, and I want them to be just so, and I don't want to lose that control somehow. So I've decided to just stay small, and I do what I can.
I think not many people realize that you are, you know, one woman show, or, you know, you are the maker. And as you said, I think the reason why your bags are so beautiful is because they are made with love, and the detail of each one of them is incredible. Zoya says that she was able to get one of the mYak was having then at the showroom, otherwise it was impossible. So thanks, Paola. There you go. You see, yes, we had an event.
Laura's writing. Yes, Laura, I'm trying my best to be quick.
Yes, he's able to make some mini bags. So how many, okay, let's start from the beginning, because I think that's a very interesting. Do you start from the fabric, or do you start with an idea and then you look for the fabric? Because you have some collections and some...
yes, I think I tend to jump. So I'm similar to in conversations, I jump subjects very quick. So I think maybe my focus with bag making is also a little bit depending on my mood. So I think... yeah, sometimes I do, like for Edinburgh, I once had the idea to do that tartan fabric because I felt it was perfect for Edinburgh. So I bought a roll of that fabric and I made this, you know, a very special correction for Edinburgh. And of course I had way too few bags, and some people got very cross with me that I had too few. But the problem is, I think what people don't understand, you buy a roll, you can maybe make 30 bags out of it, and you don't know if people will like the fabric or not. So you could have 30 bags and nobody actually is interested, and you think, oh my God, and I made so much of the same. So it's this, you know, just not knowing. And it's not like a big company which probably knows, you know, the trends better. It's only this little person setting. So that is one. Sometimes I'm saying, oh, let's make something that's special for Christmas. So last year I had a very cute bag with little deers on. So sometimes I do that. And I guess when summer comes, I go more colorful. But, you know, I don't really sort of have a long plan of what I do or what I introduce. Is that what you were asking, or did I misunderstand that a little?
Yes, it is. But now, so when you go, you know, I know that you go to different places to look for your fabric, and you don't have to tell us about your sources. So when you go look for fabric, do you look for, what do you do? Is that you get inspired by looking at you know, a textile, a fabric, a design, or you just think, oh, this would be nice for my next collection? How does that work? I mean, I would probably go nuts and buy everything if I, you know, if I could.
I think there is a very limited selection of the type of fabric I'm looking for. This linen, you know, the light canvas fabrics. There are not many available on the market, so you don't have the choice. Like I think if you would go for quilting cottons, it's overwhelming how much is available.
Yes, there's a lot of those.
Yeah. So while of that fabric is much less available. So I have certain things, like, you know, in the US, everybody kind of knows the Rifle Paper Company. I think in Europe it's less known, and so I try to get fabrics from them. They're absolutely gorgeous. The prints are just so pretty. Yeah, so people probably know that from, oh, and look who's on there. Oh, you got the same.
I didn't even plan this.
Yes.
Of course I have it.
Yes. So I think, you know, I know these fabrics are popular. I totally love them. And generally I go for quite bright things, but I must say they also do quite deep colors. And yet I think they always are striking and they're beautiful. So I love to work I love to work with their fabrics, and they're Japanese. They often get printed in Japan, even if they're distributed via the US. And so I've got some Japanese companies. So I do know now, but you need distributors. It's a little bit complicated, and there's not as much choice as I would love to have. So it's but you know, the things that are available, I usually, you know.
So okay, nice. So once you have your fabric, so you get your fabric, and do you try to, you know, pair different fabrics together? Because each part of your bag, I mean, some of the bags have more type of fabrics joined together, and some have less. It depends on what they are, you know, I guess.
Yes, it does depend a little bit on what they are. Generally, the most, I try to move a bit back, that you can sort of probably, generally, I work with a main floral and then one contrast strip. That's just sort of, I think now, the Pink Hazel bag. And I think you can do quite nice, where you would even join 2 multi-patterned ones. But I think now that's sort of my bag now, that you have to have, or that I feel that's Pink Hazel now, to use the plain with multicolored. And, you know, I tend to mix it up, and I think that makes it also difficult. That means that I always have to photograph a lot, because I change my mind with what I like it. And I don't know, I think probably mainly seasonally, you know, when it goes to lighter weather, I fancy all the lighter or brighter colors, and in the winter it gets a bit moodier. I've just actually made one bag ready, and I've given it 2 different, you know, contrasts.
Can you show them slowly so that we can all enjoy them for a second? Everybody's going already, like, oh, can I get it? When is this available?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's this beautiful. Can you see it, or should I bring it a bit closer?
Yes, I can see it's beautiful. Yeah, you can just pop it over. Just throw it over.
So I tend to try to pick up colors that are within the bags, so that it matches. And you know, then I also mixed it with a lighter one, and then I gave it darker coats. So, but you know, I don't tend to look back at pictures. When I would make the next batch, I probably would put a different colored coat with it, just because the mood takes me like that, which is a bit silly. I should be more consistent, but
oh no, but I think that the fact that you're not consistent makes them special, and the fact that you only have few, and each one of them, you know, just a few of them are the same, is what makes them unique and special as well. So you know, I wouldn't change that. Is you know, then everybody will want, you know, we say, I want this, I want that, but of course, you know.
So they stay always, because when a bolt is gone, sometimes I get you know, get one again, but often these fabrics get printed like fashion items, that they get printed for one season, and you just cannot get them again. And some odd fabric shop somewhere might have a meter left, but I need to buy from wholesalers, otherwise it's money wise not worth sewing the bags in, because these are actually really expensive prints, these bags. It's not like quilting cottons. They're, you know, 3-4 times the
they're
price,
much thicker. You were showing one, and I think it's trying to see. I want to talk about the strings that you use as well. You know, I'm not an expert, and I don't even sew. So, but this size, these are really nice the way you do it. And I know that you do 2 types. You do this one in fabric, it's cotton,
yeah.
And then you do you have a leather version as well.
Yeah.
So what makes you choose one versus the other?
Okay, generally, well, these I do love these tapes, because I think it's so pretty, because they have these little stitches in there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to use any that are not as special as these. So, you know, you can get the plain colored ones in lots of colors, but I'm just in love with these stitches. I think they make it a little bit different, but they only come in a limited range of colors. So, for example, for the pink bag, then it's not available, then I will go for leather. And sometimes I'm just in the mood for leather. So,
okay. So, for example, in one of my ones, for example, and I think I have the entire series of this, which is really, you know,
you did love that fabric. Yeah,
I did. I went with the, you know, the large bag, the medium bag, and the small bags with this one. I went wild for this one. I mean, this bird, just the way that you position, Paola, is yours with your logo of the yak, Oh, I have the pins. I have the pins on mine, but we'll talk about pins later, maybe.
Yeah.
So just the way you position them, you know, it takes maybe, you know, your creativity and your good eye, because you could just, you know, take this and put it somewhere else. But every single, and again, you know, this is not like a sponsor marketing or anything. I truly, truly love them.
Yes.
That's why I want you here.
It is sometimes very tricky, because I do take a lot of time, and sometimes something also goes slightly wrong. And when I saw it together, I go like, no, this is just not, you know, I'm because I know the bags, I know about where later the folds will be. I sort of know where things need to be positioned, but it can make it very, very time consuming. For some fabrics, it takes really, like the lemur, which is at the moment so popular. It really takes forever to cut the fabric out, to get the fabric just at the right place. So it's, and I have got one fabric, the zoo. I'm not sure. Do you remember the zoo?
It? Yeah.
I brought it up with me just to show that. I probably need to move a little bit back on my chair, because if you see the print of it, I think everybody can see that, you know, that it is, and if you see the back, it's, so I don't know. Could you see it? Is it good? Because I
yes, yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So, and you know, the tiger and the tiger and the flamingo were kind of the most popular item probably to be on a bag for people. But you know, you need to think you have so much fabric. So in order not to waste, you also need to try to see that you still use other parts. So it's, of course, throwing away. But the front and the back also don't align. So it's not like you can lie a pattern piece on the front and the same. I need to open the fabric up, and both sides need to be cut individually. So it is very time consuming. Some fabrics are super easy, and you know, it really doesn't matter how you cut them, but some take very long to cut out.
Not sure how I missed the flamingo. I mean, I love the flamingo. I have no idea how I missed it. Maybe I just, yeah, I thought myself, don't look at Pink Hazel, don't look at Pink Hazel. You have enough bags.
Probably drowning in the bags. Yes.
But also, you know, one of the beautiful things about your bag is the inside. Sorry, you know, not that I want to show all my bags, but I'm going to. So this one, for example, which of course has my little pin, this was my first one. So this is the first one that I got from you. And I still love it. And then I got back and I got the basket and the larger one. But what I loved about it, besides all of the colors, and of course it is pink and it has some orange, the inside, I don't know if you can see, guys, but the inside of this has a different fabric. Can you see? That has a little polka dots here. Don't know if you can see it. So the inside is as beautiful as the outside.
Well, I do tend to use, I try to use fabrics that obviously complement somehow the outside of the bags. But I did go for a while. Sometimes, I think it was in the beginning of my business, sometimes quite patterned. But I'm now doing a bit plainer, maybe with like little dots or so, like the ones you have, because I find when it's too patterned, when you lose something within your bag, it's very hard to find things. So a solid color is easier to spot, like the little stitch marker you drop or something. So I, you know, so I do like to use things with little patterns. Like this one has got the same you have, but it's in a peachy tone, but also the tiny little dots. You know, but but you know, I vary also what I do.
Sorry, somebody was saying the pockets too. Yes, the fact that you have pockets inside as well is a plus. They always have this little zip for the stitch markers.
Yes,
your little things.
So it's a little zip, and then the pocket tends to be again a different color than the bag. So just for fun, really.
Yeah, just for fun. So how long does it take you from beginning to finish to make one bag?
Oh, I'm not really sure, because it's such a process, because I cut out in a bigger batch, and then, you know, you cut the flizzelines, and then it needs to be pressed. But I am fast now. I can sew. In the beginning, it took me really long. It probably took me 1.5 hours, just the sewing, you know, the assembly of a bag. I can sort of show a little. I mean, so you have got all the different. the different pieces, so from lining, you know, the top buns, the little pockets. So it's lots and lots of different pieces. Then flizzelines get pressed on, you know, let's say for the project bags, it's on, you know, the contrast strips and the main fabric. And then the joining begins, you know, sewing the little leather tags on, putting the ribbons. But I think I probably can make one of those bags ready. Now the sewing, I'm not sure, maybe half an hour, the sewing, but that's without the cutting. So the cutting can take
so the cutting
very long. And you know, but I am, maybe half an hour is a little bit over, you know, too fast, but something like that. I can sew them very quick. Maybe it's a bit longer, maybe 45 minutes or so. So that's a project bags.
But no, sorry if I ask, but so do you cut the fabric for one type of bag, like all of that, or you have different bags in the making at the same time, or just one? This is like today is the zoo, and that's what you do.
Yeah, no, I think I tend to, it's more like a big batch. So let's say I take 3 or 4 fabrics and think, oh, okay, I know sort of what the most popular bags are, which is probably the Eden bag, the maxi and the large. That's the most popular size, and the baskets. So I don't tend to make that many of them. I don't really.
Well, we'll talk about the basket in a second. And somebody's asking if you're making. Sorry, somebody's asking if you're going to make the. No, somebody. Amy is asking if you're making the peacock or once again.
The fabric is almost gone. Really, almost gone. I've got a tiny bit left. So maybe write to me a DM later.
Oh no, don't worry. Just that's Amy. It's no, I'm just saying she's going to, anything you do, she'll get it.
Yeah.
So you know, when you do a pouch, a bag, anything, just make it, and she will get it.
Okay, because it's not much left, just so we can talk about it. I need to look. There's just a tiny bit of the peacock left because it was very popular and it did go very quickly.
Yeah.
My favorite sewing machine. Okay, I have got. Actually, I sewed for very, very long, only with a little Bernina machine, Aurora 405 or something, you know, but eventually I had to take it all the time to repair. It couldn't cope anymore. So I bought a Yuki industrial sewing machine. So I don't actually know which model it is. So if you would be interested in it, you know, you would need to send me a message. I need to look downstairs what it is called, but it's a Yuki. And it's basically, it just can sew straight lines. And that's what you need for bag making. So that's a perfect machine. So that's 2. And I've got an industrial iron, you know, like you find at the dry cleaner. So they're very, very strong and steamy. And I've got an electric cutter for cutting the fabrics. So that's the equipment.
Oh, wow. You were just talking about your baskets, which is another obsession that I have.
Yes.
And you said you're not making many of them.
Yeah, I don't really know why. I think they are so, well, I think I recently got more into them. I never had one myself till November. I never knew why I should have one. And then now I have got 3. Just, oh, there it comes. I can show you mine as well. Yes. I just forgotten about that fabric even till you showed the bag on the photo, and I was, oh my god, that was so sweet, the little beach huts.
Oh my god, this is one of my favorite. As much as I love flowers, when you came out with this little houses collection, and I think I got, you know, the bag and that, and I was like, oh, if she has it, I want a pouch, I want you know, I want a top bag, I want a dress, I want everything, and it's so beautiful. I actually emptied it out so I can show it.
Okay.
But look at that. Today I had a long walk on the beach and it was raining, but you know, I came back and I said, you know, this is the perfect bag for a knitter to travel with, and you have a little birds on the, you know, at the bottom here.
Yes. Yeah, the beach huts are really nice. Maybe I should get some more of that beach hut fabric if it's still on.
Please do so.
I'm not sure.
I'll definitely
because
get
the summer
more.
is coming now, so it would be quite nice to have that.
Oh, somebody. Oh, yes, that's.
I've got
nature luxury. Yes.
I love my bug one. You see, I've got the little bug one, so I really like. But I've got, you know, I've suddenly got a few, and I feel like, oh, they're just ideal for storing my yarn, and then I know what my next project is, and I just never knew how ingenious they really are. And also at the sofa before, I just sort of threw it next to me, and then, or well, the project bags are nice, but at home a basket is just really, really ingenious. I just didn't know well, I thought they might be useful, but I don't know why I never kept one for myself.
But especially now with all of the color work, not that I, sometimes it's like you have the yarn that you're working with, and then all of the other little things that you need, the other bowls, especially if you have color work and you have to pull. I think it's really useful. So I don't know, from perspective of definitely a consumer, make more. And somebody just said that they want. Somebody just said that they want this. This fabric.
Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna see if I can still get the beach shot fabric. So that will.
And make small pouches. I need a small pouch.
Yeah.
So you said that you're. Yeah. Go ahead.
These ones, you mean these pouches?
Oh yeah. Oh, I have that one too. Yeah.
You mean you need more of these, that size? Okay.
Yes. With this fabric.
Yeah. I'm not sure if the house, would be
maybe
taller
a little bit
than
bigger.
the pouch.
Then just make them bigger.
A little bigger. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Ordering the way for you guys. So a lot of people are obsessed as I am, and they say, somebody says, I'm happy I'm not the only one obsessed with it.
Oh, Pink Hazel. Okay. Yes, I have problems to keep, sometimes I read something and then I'm in a
That's okay, it's okay. I read them for you. They're very useful. Everybody loves them. And this is also, your organizer are really, really nicely done, because nothing slips. I just open it so that nothing slips out of it. This is what I bought. One of the first organizer I bought from you at Edinburgh as well. That was really lovely. They are so. Do you have one there that you can show without me losing all of my needles?
Yes. Okay. I have got one. Well, I have got. You want the interchangeable one or circular? Okay, I'm gonna show my own circular one, which is probably gonna make you all laugh, because I have so many needles, and I actually tell you I've got two. One where all my favorite needles are in, and then one where the cheaper needles are in. So
hold on, Annette. I sort of lost you. Annette, sorry. Just can you say again? I think you cracked up a little bit with the connection. Okay. Can you just repeat what you said?
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna show my circular organizer, and well, I have actually got two, but in this one are all my favorite needles, and in each section are several, so you all know now how many needles I actually own. So that's my circular organizer, and you can see I put the little golden rings on so that you can see which needle size is in which section, and it really holds. Well, go a bit back. It holds a lot of needles. So that's the circular organizer that has got like 3 rows of pockets. And well, you can sort of fold it up.
Is this Alice in the Wonderland?
Yes, this is the Alice in Wonderland print. So that was really one of my absolute best-selling fabrics. And I'm not sure if I can get it again, because I'm really not sure if it will be sold out. I always try to get it again, but I'm not sure if it will get reprinted ever again, but I hope so, because I love that one. It's so, and everybody else, not everybody, but
I have one of those.
And I just, that's the interchangeable one. Oh gosh, I'm seeing the daylight is suddenly fading here. That's the interchangeable. I try to move back. That's the same as you have, I think.
Yes.
So it has got the outside pockets for the cords, and then the needle tips go in the other. So that has 2 rows of pockets. Now my own one is actually a faulty version, because I sold one which had no zip at the side, and then I thought, okay, well, I didn't open it up again, and I just thought I keep that. So usually they have a zip, so you can keep the little ends and things at the side. So it's just the fold of my, so this is a faulty one. That's my own.
Yes, I have. I have, my one has. Yes.
Yes. Yes. So and I know people ask me.
Sorry, can I see the fabric?
Yeah. This one?
Can you close it and show the fabric? Wow, that's beautiful too.
Yes, that's a Monstera. So it's really these giant leaves. It also works really well on project bags. It's a really beautiful fabric. Yes.
Yeah.
Also,
somebody's really asking whether you can give a workshop once, maybe next year. Oh no, why? No, then we can do. Then we all learn how to do it, and then.
Yeah, but the problem is, you need to have a lot of sewing machines, and I don't have
know if it's my connection or yours, but
I don't know. I see you perfectly. Is it back?
Oh, good. Can you guys see Annette, or do you have? Is she cracking up for you as well, or just me? Can you just let me know if you can hear her? Just say yes, everything is clear. Or, but anyway, go on. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. No, I said, you know, it's not that I wouldn't give a workshop. It's just from practicality. You need sewing machines. You know, it's a total different thing. And you know, I would need to set up that I print the patterns out. I would need to sew. I'm, you know, maybe at this stage not quite ready to do that. Maybe eventually I could do that, but it's sort of a new business strategy. So I would need to think about it a little bit.
Right. So some people, quite a lot of people say that your connection is not that clear, and we can still, some do and some don't. So I guess we can, nothing we can do about it. So let's roll with it. Okay.
Because I think I made it as loud from the sound as possible. What is now going for me is my daylight. So let me just go. Yes? Okay, I'm going a bit more to the daylight. Well, what is left of it. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So you have everything. You have your project bags, you have your, you know, your baskets, your pouches, and, you know, and you keep doing it. You're very successful, which is amazing. But so do you have time to knit?
Now I've lost you.
Oh, are you there?
Oh,
I'm back. You're there?
Yes, now you're back. Yeah.
So my question is, do you have time to knit?
Oh yes, I knit a lot. I knit all the time. I'm every evening. So in the evening at a certain time, I just stop to sew, and up from 7 or so I knit. I mean, I cook meals as well and walk my dog, but then I share that with my husband, and at the moment my daughter is here. So can I show what I'm knitting at the moment?
Of course,
because it's your yarn. Okay, right.
Then
I hope you can all see that. It's really, really, really pretty. So it has this very pretty lace pattern, and I couldn't wait. I had to put the little neckline in already. So I knitted this afternoon the little neck, because I had to put the little button in. So it's an instruction from Katrin Schneider. So it's Aribo Katrinchen on Instagram, and it's a little summer shirt. So you can do it either sleeveless or with sleeves. I'm still not decided what I'm gonna do, and I'm knitting it out of is it mYak silk? Is that the right name? The lace yarn?
Is the mYak silk?
Yes.
Yes, is a mYak silk, a fingering weight that you're knitting with. And because your connection was not so good, you just said that it was a Katrin Schneider design. I love Katrin Schneider. Yeah. Her design are absolutely gorgeous. And this is a summer top, yeah?
Yes, it's a summer top. So I'm going to take a good photo of it tomorrow and put it on Instagram if anybody is interested in it. So that's the yarn I'm knitting with at the moment. And oh my God, this yak yarn is just like, it's amazing, because it's, I was talking with you yesterday. I said, I tried to describe it, and I thought crisp was the right name. It's crisp, and it feels very light, and it creates a really beautiful texture. So I think it would be perfect to wear on a summer's day. So I'm really, really happy with it. And I will knit it really fast, because it's getting quite warm here now. So I need some summer tops. Yes.
And you love pink, but also you love orange, if I recall. Yeah, that's why you do love.
Yes, I do. I mean, I think it's probably the colors which suit me the best is, well, maybe turquoisey tones and the sort of corally flamingo, sort of pinky, orangey pinks. They look really, really nice on me. So that's what I try to wear. I mean, I'm saying that I'm wearing blue stripes, but but usually I'm go for maybe a little softer colors, but quite but I recently discovered that rust looks actually quite nice on me too, so that's I have.
So you went, I think that's the Melograno. No, is that the color Melograno? No, Savitri. No,
Dakini.
There you go.
Dakini.
That's the one. Dakini. I didn't want to show something that it wasn't, so this is the color. It's just that it looks a little bit darker where you are, because it's even in for you. So
it's really dark now.
mYak silk. Yeah. And we will. Annette will post the pattern, the picture with the pattern tomorrow on Instagram. So instead of because we will lose this comment during when we post it on IGTV. Yeah. So you will post the name of
I'll make a nice photo of it tomorrow. I'm just going to try to put a light on. I'm not sure because I thought it would be daylight enough, but it's going suddenly quite quickly. And I try to see whether you guys can still see me. Let me just try.
It's okay. We will find it. We can still.
Oh, no, the light isn't plugged in. Wait,
it's okay. We can see you, Annette.
Yes, you can still see me just about.
Yes, I can see you.
Let me just see. I've got the plug here. Oh, let's see. Oh, that creates a terrible light, doesn't it? Not very good.
Yeah.
It's actually very...
Just turn it off. That's better.
Turn it off. That's worse. Okay, so we just have to
see you.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So, so you love to knit. You knit a lot. You knit every day. You've been knitting this thing. So, what is your favorite thing to knit? Is more like sweaters or?
I'm a garment knitter. Yeah. I never understand when people, you know, because I don't know who had that conversation, but it was some Instagram conversation and I just sort of read. I don't really take that much part, but they were all discussing whether they're more a one skein person or something. And I think, but who buys one skein? To me, I always buy enough to make a jumper. So I'm just not, I do sometimes knit scarves, but I don't wear them as much as the garments. So I really do tend to make clothes.
So more like pullovers and cardigans is what you need.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Do you need for yourself or do you need also for your family?
Also for my family. I mean, I think it was long that my kids resisted, but now even my husband wants every year his jumper. My son, he lives in Canada, so for him, woolly jumpers are fantastic. And my daughter, you know, as a teenager, mom, you know, and now it's like, ooh, you know, that's quite nice, mom, you know. And so she's quite particular what she wants, and we really have to find the right wool in the right project. I think some of my friends know, but then she also really wears it. So it's always worth a bit of the effort to fight. But my mom loves me to knit things for her. And so, so I do knit for others because it's getting also, I have not in my cupboard, so it's now that stage where I actually have to knit for others. So it's just too many things for just one person to wear.
Right. Well,
yes.
Again, you can always send them over.
Do you do that? But do you knit mainly for yourself, or do you knit?
No, I mainly knit for. I don't knit as much. I don't have as much time to knit, and contrary to a lot of people, believing that a yarn company knits a lot, I don't. And I mainly knit to create some things that I really loved for myself, for sure. And but also samples that we can, to show off our yarn. So we do that, and I really enjoy it. I tend to, so I have never finished a sweater yet, and I'm challenging myself to do it now. So we're actually trying to do a few classes and a few things for the sweaters. I do love knitting shawls, and I'm knitting one that I posted today. And I really like with the mYak silk. So, maybe because they're easier, I don't have to think about too much about measurement. Yeah. But
it's actually nice. No, I do love knitting shawls as well, actually. I need to say, it's not that I don't like knitting them. I do like, but I think I have so many. And sometimes when I look to the cupboard, then I think, oh, I've got that as well. I've just finished the hipster, actually. I don't know why I didn't bring that up. I think maybe because it was quite warm here today, and I did because I thought, I wanted to show that, because I had such joy putting the little tassels at the end all on. It's such a beautiful shawl. It's such a great.
The hipster shawl by Hohe. So the hipster shawl
and
by
again,
Hohe.
that yarn is. And the yarn is just so crisp. It just has such a nice feel to it. It feels very light, I don't know how to describe it. It feels as if it weighs like nothing, and yet it warms nicely. It's really, really beautiful. So well done, Paula. Very nice.
Thank you. I think so we are a fan of each other's.
Yes. And all the fan flags.
Now, do you knit things that go also? When you take photographs, you take a lot of photographs of your accessories, and you do your own photography as well. But do you knit, and whatever you knit, you put them together with your bags sometime as well, or not? Or you keep the two things separate?
I keep that really separate. I think it's, and I also don't know on Instagram if people are really interested in seeing my ready-made garments or so, but I decided, well, I'm always so pleased when something is finished, and I try to take nice photos, and that's Manon actually, who used to work full-time for me. She takes beautiful photos, so I tend to call her as long as we can manage, and we'll go, you know, and try to take a nice photo when the weather is right also. And yeah, my daughter also takes quite nice photos, but she usually doesn't live close by. So, but Manon is really a master at photos. So,
yeah, your photos are absolutely beautiful. So, not to do, you know, so what's in the bag? I mean, you know, what's next for you? Are you coming out with a new collection? Do you have something specific coming out for summer? Do you have anything?
Well, I have got some fabrics which are now very summery, or which I think one I got back in, which I used to do. I don't know if you have got a bag from it. I brought it upstairs because I love this so much. It's one of my favorite bags. It's out of this fabric. The blue waves, you know. So
yes.
And whenever it's summer, I think maybe I've got my ready one up here. Yes. Can you guys still see that? It's so dark. So I think
we can see it. We can see it. Yes.
So I think I'm gonna, you know, and I have actually made some. In the next update, there will be some very nice Eden bags. You want me to show?
And yes, of course, we want to see that.
So
remember, guys, you saw it here before anywhere else.
Yeah. So I have got, you know, the door bag was very popular in the last update. So I've made Eden bags out of that ready. So
that's beautiful.
You know, that's my very big ones, which are almost more like bags or sling around bags than project bags. And then, well, I made of the bluish ones for the people who like blue and yellow. And I think the ones which probably is going to be the most popular are the flower ones, and I combined them with green. So they really are big bags. So you can put a lot inside. You can put your smaller project bag in, and you know, with wallets.
Will you combine it with the yellow again? Because I think this with the yellow, that print with the yellow is really beautiful.
Yes, I do like that. It's you know, it's sometimes a bit tricky because many colors work well, and I try to, you know, sometimes I'm surprised. For example, blue does not sell as well as other colors, and I always thought that blue is the most popular color, but in bags it's definitely not true. People are not that mad about blue than about other colors. So, you know, and yellow is also a little bit more tricky. So I love yellow, but then I always go for everything right.
So we have a couple of questions. Oh, thank you, Magic, for saying that we always get you the best sneak peeks, which is good. Somebody was asking whether you're going to have the basket too in this fabric. Somebody was asking.
Okay,
you have basket
I could make some. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So talking about a little announcement, you know, and we only have 3 minutes left. Would you believe it? I told you that the time was flying.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So. Annette and I, you know, we've been friends for a while since we became, you know, since I became obsessed with her bags, and we had thought of having an event here in New York. We had planned for an event here in New York that we had not announced yet, and then this situation, COVID situation, happened. But stay tuned, because one way or the other, we are going to do something together. And hopefully it will be here in New York if we can. If not in person, it might be a virtual situation, virtual happening. But hopefully we will be able to, you know, to get Annette to New York and have a special event for her wonderful work. Yeah.
Oh, yes, it would be great. I hope we can do it. I hope sooner than later, but the world is a bit upside down, so we'll see.
Yes. Well, I think Annette, I think that this is all the time that we have for this episode, and I'm so happy you joined me today. I'm so happy that all of you guys have joined and asked questions and sent all the love for all those bags. I'm so happy I'm not the only one obsessed with Annette bags, and when is the next update? You said a couple of weeks, maybe, or
I think in a couple of weeks. Yeah, in about 2 weeks' time, I will do my next update. So on a Friday evening, I think that seems to suit. It seems to be that it's quite popular. Yeah. So in 2 weeks' time,
in a couple
I
of
will do
weeks.
an
So
update,
stay
yeah.
tuned for an update on the shop. She's have a lot of the new things that you have seen probably, and maybe some new things that will come out. A lot of people want you in New York. There you go. Some people will travel from different places to come here, they say. So
yes, yeah, let's hope that we can do it soon.
let's try to make it happen. Annette, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. That was really, really kind of you. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. And have a lovely evening, you guys. Wherever you are, have a lovely long weekend here in the US. Thank you so much. Good night.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you, everyone. Bye. Bye.
Thank you all so very much for watching us. See you at the next episode.